Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ritual channel. My name is Dana Schmidt-Johnson. I'm the community manager of the Ritual Society, our online community of spiritual enthusiasts. And today we are going to be talking about music magic. And you are going to have to forgive me because I'm going to fangirl a bit because we're talking to the creator of the Rock and Roll Oracle and the Music in She Oracle. And if you've had a short reading with me or even a long one, you know that I use the Rock and Roll Oracle at the end of my readings because this deck is so on point all the time. It gives an awesome oh, I pulled my David Bowie card, got my earrings on for the session today. It just has some really cool archetypes of, these rock and roll stars. And these decks just showcase some really cool people. And then the Music and She deck is all women. So these are so fabulous. And I'm so over the moon to be talking to music magic deck creator and creative coach Natalie Mertz today. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you, Dana. Oh, you're so sweet. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. Well, at least I am. So you got to tell us, what the heck is music magic?
So it's really it's what we do when we listen to music, right? It's not complicated. Like music is such a powerful spiritual tool in my opinion, right? It's a tool that we use all the time whenever we listen to music, right? To evoke a feeling, to motivate us, to energize us, to bring us to a certain mood, to hype us up, to help us emote, right? So it's really just using the music that we love, to help us, through our daily lives, basically, in a nutshell.
So what does a music magic practice look like? And how can we incorporate that into our own lives? Because it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. So this is a part of why I created my Oracle decks. And so how I use it, like with my Oracle decks, is in the morning, I will shuffle the deck and I'll pull a card, it's Whitney, and then, kind of read up about Whitney and in my guidebook and whatnot, and channel that kind of affirmation and that message for the day. So that is like a tangible tool that I've created to kind of work with music magic. But really, it's like, whenever we play music, and putting on a certain playlist and stuff. And I also like to think about music magic as like a vision board, but really it's like a soundtrack, right? So, like there's certain spells that people use, right? There's certain spreads that we use when we want to have certain information or guidance on a certain thing. We use music in the same way. So, maybe it's like playing a certain playlist, like I'm trying to get hyped up to, to go to work and like do my creative work, right? Or maybe I went through a breakup, and I need help kind of emotionally processing things. So music magic is really just, I think, more intentionally using magic or being conscious about how we're engaging with the music. And also using it too as like a meditative practice, right? And using it to get into maybe a more peaceful state or more energetic state. And to also really contemplate, what do these lyrics mean to me? Like, what is this key change? What is it doing to, like when I put Stevie Wonder on, it's always like, that key change or whatever, why does it make me want to cry right now? Right. And just using it as an opportunity to get curious about ourselves and what's going on, and to help us kind of process our daily lives.
Music is super powerful. I've never thought about using it during a spell. I think we tend to overthink things a little bit, get a bit too in our heads, and then have silence around us. But it sounds like music is like an ad, a value add, if you will, to any spells you might be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it can be right. Like it's something you can incorporate into your spiritual process, your ritual. It could be a ritual on its own, right? Like, and that's what I kind of love about it is like we all have access to music. If you have your phone or even a radio or whatever, like you have access to music. So it's this really kind of open source tool that then anybody can use, and again too, like listening to our favorite songs and stuff even over and over again, right? Like it's almost like a chant, right? Like we're evoking a certain mood, or like we're really trying to like get into the energy of the song, so we put it on repeat. Well, that's a chant, right? So yeah, so and definitely like using it in conjunction with spells or with any other kind of practice too, and see what works, see what feelings come up and whatnot. And also too, I know like with tarot and with oracle decks and stuff, we use these tools as almost like a focal point, right? Or almost kind of like a mental distraction, or not a distraction, but something to really focus on so that the messages can come through, right? Music can be the same way too, right? We're kind of like engaged in the music and whatnot. So our minds are kind of like in a looser state, right? In a more open state to receive information. And how often too are you driving, you're on a road trip, you're listening to music, and all this inspiration comes to you, right? Or like when I get home, when I get, you know what I mean? Like when I'm back at home, I'm gonna write this out. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna whatever, right? Or seeing a live band, right? Like I don't know about you, but like I get super inspired. So I think there's musical spirit guides that speak to us through music.
Yeah, definitely that live music aspect is like seeing people at their highest form of, what they're bringing to the world is really potent and powerful and magical. So then I guess the question is, do you have to be musical to be able to do music magic, or at least creative or anything like that? Or can you lack all of that entirely and still be successful at music magic?
Hell no, you don't have to be musical. I gave up guitar lessons when I was 14. Okay. I mean, I sing my little heart out in the shower. You know what I mean? I put on concertos in my car all the time, but I'm not a musician. I'm just a fan. I'm just a big fan. And so you don't have to identify as a creative, as a musician at all. I think most people just we listen to music, and again, it's like, as with any, I think, spiritual tool, you can go real deep, right, into any topic, into tarot or oracle or spell work, shadow work, etc., right? You can go as deep as you want, or not, right? You know what I mean? The idea is that we all are plugged in, right? We all have this super powerful antenna of intuition. And so we use these tools again just to kind of help us channel that. Music is the same way too. So again, and just ask yourself too, like what are some songs that or artists, that I like to listen to when I want to feel inspired? What artists help me feel more at peace or feel more connected to the spirit realm or to the universe or whatnot? But so really it's like anyone can do it. I think it's really just being a little bit more intentional about what you're listening to and how you're listening to it. And what do you want to channel? What do you know what I mean? And you can ask. Like the point of my deck too is like, I feel like, musicians and public figures are kind of like our modern day deities, right? And we look up to them, and you know what I mean? And we look at their life experience, and what can I glean from that, right? Like what, like they make music that I absolutely love and like touches like the deepest part of my soul, and like, why is that? And being curious about that, and like, and also channeling that, right? So that's another thing why I made this tool is like to meditate on like, Patti Smith's, Gloria song, and what does that mean to me?
Oh,
It's
that
like a
was
really long rant.
no, that's a great rant. And kind of goes into my next question, which is like, how did you get here? Music magic isn't something that's talked about a lot. Certainly this deck is very unique. All Oracle decks kind of are, but like, we just don't see things like this very often. Who's pulling a Prince card on the regular, So how did you get here if you quit guitar at 14?
Yeah, so I've been a music fan. I've been obsessed with music my whole entire life. When I was a kid, I would challenge people, like, turn the radio to any channel and I could tell you what the name of the song is or the artist or some weird fun pop-up video fun fact about the song or something. I really was obsessed with the radio, and I've always been obsessed with music. And when I got older, I found I really loved reading about their lives and reading their biographies and memoirs. Because again, I was there's musicians, there's artists like Prince or Diana Ross, or David Bowie, where I was like, how did you do something so extraordinary? How did you create something that touches me so deeply? Right. I want to know, like, what is it? And I love reading about their lives. And I also love finding out that they're human, that they're flawed just like I am. They have problems and issues, just like me. Prince is not human. Like, Prince is the exception. They are an alien just dropped down from some faraway purple planet. So he is an exception to the rule, but everyone else, really struggled. Drug addiction, alcoholism, depression. But Nina Simone, she was kind of misdiagnosed at the time as manic depressive, but really she was probably more, I'm not a psychologist or whatever, but she's probably more bipolar, just all these ups and downs. And I was like, oh, like, they're imperfect. So maybe, I could create something extraordinary too. So I love reading and researching and watching documentaries, and I love Oracle decks. And for a long time, I was a graphic designer by trade. So I'm a visual artist too. So it's kind of like making this Oracle deck or decks was like the trifecta of everything that I love. So I illustrated the cards. I loved researching all the artists and like, what does it make, what does Whitney Houston mean to me, and what is the message of her music and her life mean? And just kind of like putting that into an Oracle deck form.
So cool how all of these things just converged into this perfect arena for you with music magic. So Natalie, what is it that you love about music magic, and why should we all love it too?
I'm a Sagittarius, and so I like to have fun. Fun and freedom is very important to me, and spirituality has always been something very important to me too. I've always been really hungry and very curious, learning about different modalities and stuff. And for me, it was like crossing the streams of like the fun and the energy of music and the idea of parties and like Studio 54 and like house music, that's kind of my shit. Mixing it with spirituality, because in my experience too, I would go to meditation sessions or talks or whatever, or a channeling session or whatever, whenever it's like community or whatnot, or even just in general spiritual practices, they're very like quiet and introspective, which is so important, right? Like, it's so good to get quiet, right? Life is very hectic and crazy. Like, it's important to get quiet so we can listen and kind of download what the information that we need, right? And I would go to these things and I loved it, but then I was like, oh, I want to go like have fun and I want to dance or whatever. So the idea of like music magic for me, what I love about it's like a spiritual connection, but it's a more kind of like energetic, celebratory for me, you know, like practice, right? I like a lot of dance music. I like a lot of house, disco, I like things like to help you move the body, right? And as Sonia Choquette likes to point out, you know, like you know, if you hear like in a like this, let the spirit move you, well, you have to literally move, right? Like actually moving your body actually helps, you know, like bring the spirit in. So I just love kind of, you know, like having the excuse me, more quiet and introspective kind of softer practices. And then I also love, you know, like when I'm dancing, you know, when I go to a Soul in the Horn party, or you know, I'm going to see Beyonce in August, that is a spiritual experience. You can't tell me otherwise, right? Listening to your favorite artists or the music that really turns you on, you can't tell me that's not a spiritual experience.
1,000%. I have definitely had some great spiritual experiences with live music, and it is really like, this is a moment, like I can remember back to those particular moments in time. It's so cool. Natalie, thank you so much for being here today and talking us through some music magic. We are so excited to have you as one of our teachers in the Writual Society in August, where you're going to teach us even more and how to really get into it. But in the meantime, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Music and She. You can also go to musicandShe.com if you want to check out the Music and She Oracle deck. The rock and roll one is sold out, wah, wah. But I have that on there. I also sell I also have like an Oracle deck wrap too, like a silk wrap. But anyways, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Amazing. We'll follow you at Music and She, and we will see you in the society in August. Thank you so much, Natalie. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.